Welcome back, my loves. Today in this video I want to share how to stop comparing yourself, but most importantly how to use comparison so you can actually manifest everything you desire. First, let's understand what comparison is. Comparison and comparing ourselves to others, it's a very natural, very normal process that we do as human beings. It's actually in our biology because it helps us to compare, to see where we are in life, where we want to go, and to calibrate with everyone around us. This process can be a conscious one, like you're consciously comparing yourself. Oh my god, I see this person being there and I'm not there yet. Or, and most of the time, it's unconscious. So the more we bring consciousness to the unconscious, the more we have power and mastery over our mindset and over the life that we are actually creating for ourselves. The problem with comparison is that we're constantly running this program in our heads without even knowing it. Today, with the explosion of social media and how bombarded we are, we're not comparing ourselves to just our peers and family and people that are quite close to us, because usually if we stay in a closed, small environment, everyone tends to look like each other. That's what we do. We are social creatures. That's how we function. But now with social media, we have the ability to compare ourselves with the rest of the world, with people that are not just 1 or 2 or 5 steps ahead, but people that are 100 or 1,000 steps ahead, which can create a lot of problems. It can really create negative thoughts in your brain and a negative perception of your own experience and your own life. Another problem is that because we live in a world and in society that really promotes lack and scarcity, it's just reinforced that even more. So you're always thinking that you're lacking something, that someone else has something you don't have, whether it's a material thing or it's money or it's success or it's a podcast or it's a business or it's just an attribute. We are developing that comparison and thinking that we don't have enough, or even just seeing someone having something you're not make you think that you don't have access to it, that it's already done before. Seeing someone very inspired and inspiring, someone that is very resourceful, someone that is already doing things that you want to do, and you're like, oh my god, they're already doing it and they're so far. Why would I bother to follow my own journey? Will I ever be good enough? So instead of really inspiring us and motivating us, comparison can actually do the exact opposite. Instead of being a fuel and a drive for you to calibrate to someone else's success, it creates the opposite, where you feel like you'll never have it and basically, well, you end up feeling like shit. It creates this distortion that you're not good enough, that there is not enough to go around. And so if we already suffer from worthiness issues, it's just reinforced that very strongly. With that comparison comes a lot of feelings, very uncomfortable, very nasty feelings like jealousy, frustration, hopelessness. We're so demotivated that we just don't want to do anything. So it can become a huge obstacle to the inspiration and motivation you actually need to make things happen, to work on your dream life, to go after your own success. Even if you don't have a big vision for yourself and your life, which I highly doubt if you're watching this video, but it is also a relationship thing. So if you're always comparing yourself to others, you will feel very unworthy of your relationship, but also just your relationship to yourself, your personal intimate relationship that will erode your confidence on the long term. And so really the biggest trap also is that all of comparison nowadays, most of it is completely inaccurate. It's completely false. It's an illusion completely. Picture that. We are comparing our own 100% full of contradiction, messy, chaotic, very not so perfect lives to a snippet of someone else's life, 10%. We compare our 100% to their 10%. And let me tell you, I'm talking here about people just like me that are so dedicated to telling the truth, to sharing the challenges and the struggle, to share a picture that is not so glamorized and perfect, but actually share the nitty-gritty, real, authentic I am very committed to that, whether it's on my podcast, especially on my podcast, or my Instagram and my stories, my feed, or here on YouTube. I'm really trying to be as transparent, to share the real thing, because I don't really care about making my life seems amazing. I just want success for myself and I want success for you. That's why I'm even sharing that in the first place. And if we go around with the illusion that it's all perfect and magnificent and that there is no pain, no discomfort, it's just so not real. The problem is, even with that profound commitment for myself to be in integrity and to show you everything. I've recorded videos of me crying when I was in the depth of heartbreak. I've shared my failures, my heartbreaks, my anxiety, my depression. I've shared all of this on my social media, and still people are thinking that I'm always living my best life, which to some extent I really am, but at the same time it's just not the whole context, it's not the whole picture. With that commitment, I am only able to share 10% of my life. Well, sometimes I'm just crying on the floor and I will not just think of having my phone. I don't even know where my phone is when I have a fucking panic attack or that I'm so depressed. And usually we share things from a perspective of like, I used to struggle, I overcame it, that's how I overcame it, let me share you the medicine with you so you can also navigate your hard times. But we don't necessarily show while we're in it and how we actually feel when we're in it. And also it would mean that we will have a crew of people recording us 24/7, recording our thoughts, how we feel internally, which is literally impossible. Obviously, I'm sharing about social media because I think that is something that amplified our ability to compare ourselves in the bad way. But also, if you read a book or even have a conversation with someone you think you really know, like your best friend, you are not in their heads. You don't actually know, even if they're sharing very openly, very vulnerably, everything about their lives and their struggles, and you spend like hours and hours and hours on the phone with them or in person with them, you still don't have the full context of everything they're experiencing in their lives. And we have to think that those people that are sharing very openly and authentically, we are more and more of us doing that, but honestly, it's not the majority. There are a lot of people out there, especially on social media, that are paid or have other sorts of interests/benefits from having this picture perfect, glamorized, fabricated life. So it's a bit insane to compare ourselves. The thing is, we can't really help it. And that's pretty normal. But before we dive into what I'm very excited about, which is how to use it, how to manipulate it to serve you, because if it's a natural instinct, how do you fight against something that is so normal, right? But I'm gonna give you a few antidotes if you actually want to stop comparing yourself, or if comparison has been like just out of order for you and just you're comparing yourself 24/7, or you brought so much awareness and you're very aware that you're doing it. The first thing would be to actually limit your time on social media and to nourish yourself with your own presence. Instead of consuming and always triggering that process, that conscious and unconscious process of comparison within yourself, just spend more time having this closed loop of this is my own presence, I'm just comparing myself to myself, I'm just nourishing myself with my own presence. So it's kind of like, instead of consuming and absorbing and having this inward movement, try to have this outward movement. Write, journal, be creative, let yourself out, and be your own source of motivation and inspiration. Look in the past, how far you've come on your own journey, and spend more time giving gratitude and actually honoring your own path, your own journey, and your own rhythm. You can also use gratitude. Just practicing gratitude in general is very beneficial for your mental health and for any kind of success. And always remember that most of the time we don't have the full context of something. I was having a conversation with my best friend. She just became a new mom. She's overwhelmed with this newborn, and she was telling me how she compares herself so much to those other moms on Instagram having this super perfect apartment. Everything is so tidy and so perfect, and they look like they have so much energy. We were talking about that, how it was making her feel like she was wrong or just inadequate in general, and she was just feeling very frustrated and jealous and not really understanding why she would feel like she's not there yet. She doesn't have the same lifestyle. We use our creative minds to actually think about the context. Maybe those moms are sharing that, but we don't know when they're crying themselves to sleep. We don't know if they have like 4 people in the house helping and actually making everything super tidy, and she doesn't have to do it. We don't know if the husband is working or not. We don't know. We just don't know the full context of someone else's life. But now, let's get into the few steps you can take to actually use comparison to your advantage. First, my biggest advice would be to actually don't fight it, because everything you resist persist. The more you're gonna try to reject an aspect of you, the more you will amplify it. The real beautiful antidote to anything in life is deep, radical acceptance. So make room for it. Make room for the feelings that are associated with that comparison, for the frustration, the jealousy, the envy, the hopelessness. Make room for it. Have space, invite it in your experience because it's there anyway, and decide to learn from it. Instead of seeing it as I will never have this or that, see it as something that is possible for you too. People are giving you an example of what you can accomplish yourself. Because think about it, we are very different, very unique, but we are also very not different. We're the same. No one is really more beautiful or smarter or more resourceful. Of course, we all have privileges, different privileges. That's very important to keep in mind, that we don't always start from the same baseline, for sure. But with that being said, remember that those successful people or someone that has something you don't have yet is just an example, an inspiration, a motivation. Be like, oh my God, I'm gonna have that one day, because if that person did it, I can do it too. I'm not that different. If you're very comparing yourself to a selected group of people that you put on a pedestal, try to do that. Try to see also how you're similar to them, because comparison works both ways. It works of like comparing how similar we are and comparing how different we are. So if you can see in them the qualities that you also have in yourself, you're like, well, I have those qualities too. I can do it too. And remember, something that really helped me on my journey is to remember how when we see something that we want or someone we admire, it's because we have it in us too. We have those qualities too. They might be dormant, they might not be like super expressed, but we have it. Otherwise, we won't be able to see it. That's the same with triggers. Like if something triggers you and you're very annoyed, chances are you have it too. But anyway, see what's possible for you. And if someone did it and you're like, oh, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me, don't stress out about the how I'm gonna do it. You don't have to have the same journey. It's actually impossible. We're all created unique and different in that way, because we will go at our own pace. We will learn the lessons that we are here to learn, whether we like it or not. And the last piece is use this comparison as a way to celebrate others. If someone has something you really, really want for yourself, whether it's a material thing or a success in your life, celebrate them. Be like, oh my God, I'm so happy for this person. I'm so happy for them. And try to unlock this genuine feeling. Because if you can do it, it's using the law of attraction and the law of manifestation. If you're actually happy and in celebration, in gratitude, in cheering someone because they did it, it brings that experience closer to your own reality. So to sum up everything we shared today, remember that comparison can be a killer. It can kill your motivation. But if you bring enough awareness to this process that is naturally occurring within all of us, you can actually use it and alchemize it so you can actually get closer to everything you want for yourself, because you see it as an opportunity, an example, a reference point of the life that you too can achieve. But it's gonna be even more delicious, it's gonna be even better, because it's gonna be yours. It's gonna be your own journey, your own experience, and that is priceless. It's not gonna be someone else. It's not gonna be as good as, it's gonna be so much better. And again, always remember to not compare your 100% messy, complicated, not always perfect life to someone else 10%. This is also a distortion and illusion, and it's always important to be like, hey, wait, I want that, but I need to remember that I don't have the full context. With that being said, please, if you like this video and find any value, leave a comment, share it with friends. It really helps and support the channel. And if you want to dive deeper into this work of embracing the full spectrum of who you are in designing your dream life, I want to invite you into my online program, Becoming Her. It's 9 modules to fully transform your whole life from the inside out. So working on that inner work, bringing the unconscious to the conscious in order for you to really manifest on the outside a life that makes you really, really proud, a life that is aligned with your heart's desires and what is the truest expression for you. It's so much gold and wisdom and practical tools mixed with spirituality, but also tangible actions you can take. Everything is packed into that that 9-module online program for you to really become the woman you always wanted to be. Have a beautiful rest of your day.